All stars of making and sporty CircuitPythonistas. It's Prof G, and in this quick lesson, I'll show you how I adapted the LED matrix scoreboard by Adafruit's incomparable Blitz City DIY, aka Liz Clark, to show a running set of current scores from the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, and NBA. This uses a free API from ESPN. I threw this together the day before Christmas as a gift from my sports fan son, so it's a fast build if you've got the parts. Let's make! So you can find Liz's original build by searching Adafruit Learning for LED Matrix Sports Scoreboard. Liz's build includes 4 64x32 Hub 75 LED matrix panels. Mine uses two 64x64 Hub 75 panels side by side. They both use the Matrix Portal S3 by Adafruit, although if you're a Raspberry Pi Pico user, I have a lesson on setting the Pico up for use with Hub 75 displays. The Matrix Portal S3 is a great board for less than $20. It'll save you a lot of wiring. If you want to build this the simplest way, I'd buy a Matrix Portal S3. Now this is a look at the back of the panels. You can see that I have the Matrix Portal on what is the right side facing forward or the left side facing this way. Now Liz designed a nice set of brackets that you can 3D print to hold the panels together. I was pressed for time and my 3D printers are at my school lab, so I just cut half-inch foam board that I had at home and used heavy-duty Velcro tape to secure the displays to the foam. It seemed to hold up pretty well. Looking at the back, you can see that the board is powered by a USB-C cable. Now this connection is where all the wiring logic goes from the board to the display. If you're wiring with a Pico, you're going to need 16 wires for this. Now these two panels connect via this ribbon cable. It goes out of the output on the first panel and into the input on the second panel. And for power and ground, the two boards connect using one of these split power ground cables that come with any Hub 75 display. So the wiring splits, plug one into the power ground in the first display and the other into the second display. The two powers and grounds merge. They'll have these metal U-shaped connectors on the end, and you screw these into the terminal blocks on the barrel jack connector, red side to plus, black side to minus, and they should plug into your power supply. I used a 5-volt 10-amp power supply for this build. Now I did notice a bit of horizontal line flashing when the API was being accessed, and just before the scores changed to a new team, I tried a few approaches to fix this. I added a common ground, I added a 1000 microfarad capacitor with short leg into the barrel jack minus, long leg into the plus. That didn't seem to help much, so I removed them. I also tried adding a second power supply for the second LED display. I didn't think that would do anything, and it didn't. The biggest improvement came after I was done adding files and coding, and I moved the board's USB power from my Mac to its own power supply. That got rid of most of the flashing that occurred when the team scores changed. Now let's talk setup. If you've never worked with CircuitPython before, you can find the latest version at circuitpython.org. Click Downloads, then search for Matrix Portal S3 if you're using the S3 board. Click that and click the Download UF2 Now button. Your file's likely being saved to the Downloads folder. Mine's on the desktop. Then, with your board plugged into your computer's USB port, double tap the reset button on your S3 board. Your board should mount on your computer with the name Matrix S3 Boot. Drag over the UF2 file that you just downloaded. If you're on a Mac and you see an error message that says the operation can't be completed because the device disappeared, you can just click OK and ignore it. Everything is fine. You can throw away the UF2 file. We don't need that. Your board should unmount, then remount as CircuitPy, and when that happens, you're upgraded to the latest version of CircuitPython. Liz wrote some great code to download and resize team logos. It's described under the Prep the Team Logos in the Project Learn Guide. You can head there now if you need to. And I'm going to be showing you how to do this on a Mac. Now, if you're on Windows or you run into problems, you can copy and paste the URL for this page into your favorite AI describing any problems you encounter, and it should be able to walk you through a solution to any challenges. If you prefer the human touch, Adafruit has some awesome free support on Discord. Now, before Liz's code can work, you need to install two helpers. Now, this installation also requires Python and the pip package installation program. Pip should install when you install Python. If you haven't done that before, you can go to python.org and follow the instructions to install Python on your computer. Now, Request is going to allow us to grab stuff over the internet, and Pillow is the image processing library that we'll use to process the logos into the properly sized BMP images that we'll need. Now, I'm going to be working from my desktop. You can work from any directory on your computer, but we're going to need to open the terminal and access that directory using the terminal program. So I'm going to press Command Space on my Mac to pull up Spotlight and type in terminal and press return, and the terminal launches. And at the terminal prompt, you'll want to use CD space to change directories. So I'm just going to enter that but not press return. Now you could just type in the path of the directory that you want to change to, But on the Mac, all you need to do is to open the Finder window and navigate to the directory that you want to work from. I'm in the desktop, and you can see if I hover the cursor over the directory name in the Windows title bar, I can see a folder appear next to that directory name, and I can drag this from the Finder back into the terminal, and if I plop it after CD space, my Mac writes the directory location I need. I can press return, and the prompt tells me that I'm now in the desktop directory. Then I can head back to the web, and I'll click here to copy the 2 lines that I'm going to use to install the helpers that I need. Head back to the terminal, paste them in, press return, and this should install the helpers on your computer. Be sure to read any output you see. If you have any problems, you're not going to see much on my display because I've already got these tools installed. Next, I'm going to scroll up to the top of my code, and I'm going to click to copy the code here. So this is the program that we're going to run that's going to download, resize, and save all the logos that we want to use in our display. Now, Liz's program is set up to download all of the logos for the NFL, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer's USA 1 division, the NHL, and the NBA. My son isn't so much into MLS, so we're going to modify this so that it doesn't download the soccer images. Now with this code copied, I'm going to get into my favorite Python editor, PyCharm. You can really use any text editor for this, but if you're working with CircuitPython, I recommend that you use PyCharm. That's what all the students in my course use, and I've got a tutorial that tells you how you can set this up on a Mac or Windows. So I'll launch PyCharm. We use the free version. Now since I've got PyCharm configured with a project to work with my CircuitPy board, I can see CircuitPy here. I'm going to click that first, then head under the File menu and select New File or Directory. I'll select the option with Python file, then give it a name. I'm going to call this get_team_logos.py. That's Liz's name. Press return. Paste in my code, and since I don't need the soccer logos, I'm going to highlight the sports names line and make sure that the string soccer with a comma after it is deleted. In sports leagues, I'll get rid of USA 1 with a comma after it. And this is going to leave me with 4 directories named Team 0 logos through Team 3 logos. I'm going to delete this last one, which is comma Team 4 logos. You can make these changes any way you wish, but I'll save this with a Command S. Now this is saving it to my CircuitPy board. I'm going to quit PyCharm. Then I'm going to open my CircuitPy volume and copy this file right into my desktop. So I'm actually going to run this code on my desktop, which is not usually what I'm doing when I'm running CircuitPython code. Usually I run my code on the board. I don't want to do that this time. I'm going to run this Python code on my Mac. So I'm going to drag getTeamLogos.py from my CircuitPy board to my desktop. You can actually delete the version in your CircuitPy board. You don't need that anymore. So I just dragged over the Python file that I modified, getTeamLogos.py. Now, a bit of warning, you see down here to run the script from the terminal, you can use this command python getTeamLogos.py, but when I pasted this in and press return, it said Python was not found. I do have Python installed, but it's installed as Python 3, so I just have to type in Python 3 as one word, then getTeamLogos.py afterward, press return. If the first one, Python, doesn't work, try Python 3, but you can see it's downloading all these logos to my Mac. And if I head to the desktop while this is running, I can see inside of this folder called Sports Logos, new folders are being created. One folder for each sports league with team logos inside, downloaded, resized, and saved as BMP format. That's some sweet Python code, Liz Clark. Thanks a ton. Now, there is one issue that I noticed with the NHL, the National Hockey League scores. Mine were saved into Team 2 logos, but whichever folder has your NHL logos, go inside that, and Utah downloads as UTAH. You want to get rid of the H after. For it to show up properly, it's just UTA for NHL. That's the Utah Mammoth. Now, there's some other things that I noticed as well. Pillow did a great job in what we call gamma correction. That's fixing the colors so that they display well on the type of LED matrix that we're using. There were a few logos that were overly corrected. So, for example, if I take a look in NHL at WSH, which are the Washington Capitals, I have a real hard time seeing this. It's going to look darker on your desktop anyway, but even when this is displayed in the LED matrix, it's tough to read. Now, in an earlier lesson, I showed my students how they could use free GIMP software. This is available for Windows or Mac to reset any gamma correction. If you're curious about that, you can find the lesson on GIMP on my channel. It's in the CircuitPython School playlist. Head there if you need to install GIMP software and you want to learn more about this. I've installed GIMP, so I'm going to load GIMP right now using Spotlight. Then I'll navigate to where the NHL logos are. Those are in my Team 2 logos. I'll find WSH for Washington. Tough to read, but I can just head under Colors, select Levels, and this has been gamma corrected where the number has been reduced below 1. It was probably corrected to something around 0.4 and then saved, so that's why the new baseline says 1.0. Now if I increase it above 1.0, that's going to brighten things up. I found setting this value to 1.8 worked well. Tab over to make sure it takes effect. Click OK to accept the change. Now you still won't see the logo looking all that great, but trust me, it's going to look better when it's showing on your LED display. Then head to the File menu, select Export As. Make sure it's going to save this in the folder that has all your NHL logos. I'm going to save this as capital WSH.BMP. When I click export, it tells me I've already got a file with that name. I'm going to replace it. In the upper left, you'll see a dialog that says Export Images BMP. You could just click the export button, and that image has been corrected. I found a few more logos also that needed some correction. In the Major League Baseball folder, the logo for the Yankees, which is NYY.BMP, so I'm going to do the same thing for that. Open it, Colors menu, Levels. I set this one to 1.9, tab over, select OK. File, export as NYY.BMP. Save over anything you got there. I also found the San Diego Padres logo was too faint. I headed to the color menu here, selected the level and set that to 2, tabbed over and said OK. Exported it as SD.BMP, replacing what was in the directory. And there was one other logo that I thought was troublesome, and this was tough to fix. It was COL for Colorado Rockies, the baseball team. When I opened it up, Gamma Correction actually got rid of part of the C, and I couldn't recorrect that so that the C showed up. So this is what I did. I opened a browser tab, headed to Google's image search, and searched for Colorado Rockies logo 32 by 32 black. Now there wasn't a perfect copy that I could download, but I did find this one here. On the map, by typing Shift-Command-4, I could get a screenshot of a selection. So I selected as best I could choose a square, which got all the black in here. I didn't want to get any of the white border. Then I opened Preview, and I pasted this in by typing Command-N for a new file. Now this is way too big, so I want to resize this as 32 by 32. You can do that under the Tools menu, select Adjust Size. Now I'll set the width to 32, and we see that the height is changed proportionally, but I didn't copy it as a perfect square. But if I click off Scale Proportionally, I can make sure that I've got a width 32, height 32, click OK. This looks good. I'm going to save this to the same folder that's got my baseball logos as COL. Now this saves as a PNG, so back in GIMP, I'm going to open col.png. You get a message about keeping the image's color profile. I selected Convert. You can experiment with that if you want. And this looks much better, but I am going to gamma correct this so that it's a little bit darker. Otherwise, it's going to be too bright on my screen. If I don't do this, I'm going to see some of those grays that you can see underneath the C and above the R. I don't want those to show up when I'm showing the logo on my display. So once again, head to Colors menu, Levels. And I'm going to go down here into this box that currently has the level as 1.00. I'll change this to 0.4, tab over. Again, it looks darker, but it's going to look perfect on our screen. Click OK. File, Export, capital COL.BMP. And now I want to copy my logo folders to my CircuitPy volume. I'm going to quit out of GIMP, and since I saved everything as a BMP, I can discard any other changes for things that are up here. And you can minimize your browser, quit your terminal. So I'll head over to the desktop inside my Sport logo folder, and I don't want that outermost Sports logos folder. What I want are just the folders that were created for me. That's Team 0 through Team 3. I'm going to drag all 4 of these folders into my CircuitPy volume, and that's now got all of the logos that I want to display on my CircuitPy board. Nice. And you can delete your Get Team Logos Py file. You don't need that on your desktop anymore. It's up to you if you want to save your Sport Team logos, if you think you might need a backup of these. Now let's head to the browser, and Liz has got some excellent code here. Feel free to check that out. She's got a great walkthrough description. You can find that under the Code the Scoreboard section. But as mentioned, I made some modifications to this code, and I've got that available for you to download. If you head to this URL, and it's also linked in the description, so you don't have to copy it down here, this brings you to a GitHub repo for my modification of the project. Click on code.py. This is the code that I modified. You can click on the copy icon over here, so this is on your clipboard, then launch PyCharm. You can certainly use another editor if you want, but I'm in PyCharm. I'm going to make sure that I'm in my code.py file, and I'm going to highlight and delete everything that's in here and paste over the top of this with the code that I just copied from GitHub. Then I'm going to save this, and my code is not going to execute. And the reason for that is I don't have the libraries that I need. If I head to my CircuitPy volume and look at my LIB folder, I see I've got no support libraries in here. Now, my students all know how to use circup. We require that for my course. Again, I've got a tutorial. If you want to learn to use this, it's excellent, highly recommended. You should be using it. You can see all I need to do here is type circup space install space -a. Circup looks at my code.py file, figures out which libraries I need, and automatically installs those over the internet onto my CircuitPy board. Now, if you don't have circup installed and you just want to drag the files over from the Adafruit bundle, since this is a more advanced project, I'm going to assume that you've done that before. These are the libraries that you need. Make sure these files are all in your LIB folder. Now, another thing you're going to need to do is to set things up for your local Wi-Fi network. So click on Settings, and you really only need these first two lines here. All caps CircuitPy underscore Wi-Fi underscore SSID, and set this equal to the string, so in between double quotes, the name of your Wi-Fi hotspot. Then below this, CircuitPy underscore Wi-Fi underscore password equals, and in double quotes, the password that gets you into that Wi-Fi. This is great for home users. If you're a student working on an EduRoam network, you probably need to make sure that your device is approved to work on your local network. Your EduRoam network probably won't accept a login using your EduRoam credentials. So make the changes here, save this, head back to code.py. I don't need the settings file anymore. I'm going to get into my terminal and use TO to take a look at what's happening in my code. I'll save my code and look at it executing. I see some stuff printing out in the console indicating that the API is fetching, it's getting the games. It's making API calls for NFL, MLB, NHL, and NBA. You might see what I call crackling around the displays. For some reason, there are some horizontal lines that flash briefly. Typically, when an API call is being made, that only happens once every 5 minutes. You can change the fetch time interval if you want to, but look at this, we're seeing the results of games on our scoreboard. Since it's the holidays, I don't have scores to show, but I can see when the upcoming games are. I wish the captured video really showed how amazing this looks. At some point in the future, I'm probably going to build a nice wooden enclosure for this and get some diffusion acrylic. That'll mute the display a bit, but this is an amazing build. Thanks again, Liz Clark, for the initial code and the inspiration. You did fantastic work. I hope my mods do justice to this. Thanks to ESPN and the Disney Corporation for making this API available for free without requiring a key. Go team and keep on hacking.